Hey guys, thanks for tuning in. Today we're going to go over the Benchmade Bugout, and maybe why it's one of the most hated knives by a lot of people on the web and just in general. I think you either love them or you hate them. This happens to be one that I've modified. It used to be just the base model and probably a blue Grivory that I had. And I put some aftermarket scales on and dressed it up real nice. So, this would be $100 or $190 base model with I think about $60 to $70 scales. So you're going to be up there at the $250 plus range for this knife, the way it sits right now. So, are there better options out there? I think so. I think that's why people don't really like the Bugout. It's overpriced, I think. I love the Bugout. I have multiple of them, but I cannot stand this version here, the base model. It's ugly. It does work. It serves its purpose, but they're just not attractive and they're not real firm in the hand. They don't feel real good in the hand. So we're going to look at a couple different models I think that would be a good competition and have much better value. So we're going to start off with this QSP Penguin here, which I think is a great value. And as titanium scales, they start off I think with just a basic, maybe a G10 with some kind of liner. I think in the $30, $40 range on up to about this $120 range. This one happens to be a 154 cm blade. So it's good steel, titanium, about 120 bucks retail on these things, give or take. So it's a lot better value, I think, on this one for the money when you're looking at a Bugout. $190 starting value versus $120 for one of their top end type knives. So we can move on here to the Civivi. This is going to be the FG with the Damascus blade. It's going to be more their top tier of the Civivi. But a great knife. You get some decent steel. I think theirs is going to be, Nitro V or maybe like 9CR on their steels in this model. Very similar size to a Bugout. It's not too far off. It's a little bit distorted from the camera here, but just a great option again. And $100 for this knife. You can get them lesser than that. I think 60 or 70 is where they start. We can move on here to the Kizer Drop Bear. Another fantastic knife. This happens to be like one of their lower end models. I believe these were titanium scales. I can't remember, but this one comes in LC200N. Just a great knife. Got the crossbar lock on it. I think this was about $130 on sale, and that's their lower end. They have higher end models that are going to be closer to the to the base model of a Benchmade Bugout. And move on to the next one. This is also a great value, the Vosteed Parallel. Just a fantastic little thin, easy to carry knife. This one's got S35 VN steel. It's got titanium scales on it, or frame I should say. It's just a fantastic knife, and I think this was about $140, $150. So it's a great value, I think, again, over what a Bugout would be. And then we move on to the Hogue Deca. This is one of the all-time classics. Very, very similar in size to a Benchmade Bugout, as we can see here. A lot of guys have compared these before, and this is just fantastic. This is 20 CV, I think, on this one. Yeah, 20 CV. I carry this one quite often. Love the Hogue products. G10, well built. And I think for the price point, these are about $150, I believe, somewhere in there. A starting price for that kind of model. Again, a much better value. Even if it was $170, you get a better value than you do with this one, I think. And then lastly here is one of my new favorites. That's going to be the Kershaw Bel Air. And there's also an XL version. I do not have that one. This one came this way, has the carbon fiber, and ironically it looks very similar to the one that I put scales on right here. Almost the same size. Blade's a touch shorter, but not much. You have almost a similar kind of marbled carbon fiber, if you want to call it that. Weight-wise, they're very similar. Action, they're both fantastic. But again, you're getting MagnaCut steel in this one. And this one's, I think, $190. So it's crazy that this for $190 is what you get with this Benchmade here with the Grivory, the base model. So it's kind of crazy. And that's why I think people are fed up with the Bugout price and the actual knife itself. Again, I personally like the knife a lot. I think it's a great knife. But when you have to go dress it up with different scales, and you're going to spend, 50, 75, $200 even on some titanium scales for it. You know, the base price ends $190 plus, let's say, another $100. You're going to do it for almost $300. You can get some really nice knives out there for that price. So that's where I think people are upset with Bugout, why it's not like so much the Benchmade Bugout. Benchmade overall has done some severe price increases, I think, and they've been expensive for a long time. I still like the brand. I think they're fantastic, but I think that's why people don't like them. And here's some great alternatives to look at. There's obviously hundreds more out there. Many folks have done reviews and comparisons on them, but that's my 2 cents on why I think the Benchmade Bugout is not as popular as it could be. Benchmade, lower the price. Give us some other options that are cheaper. Put it down there, you know, something like this in the $200 range if you can. And people would probably buy them. So anyway, hope you guys liked the video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and please consider subscribing. Thanks for watching.